Do you feel overwhelmed when it comes to money management? If you want to learn more about how to improve your financial situation, you may read books or watch YouTube videos. But most of the time, the advice is ineffective. We want to change that right now. I'll offer you 6 basics of personal finance to follow. And if you only do one at a time, you'll save more money, spend less money, and manage your money better overall. You might save $200 to $500 per month or more by following some simple financial recommendations, which also have a major impact. Hello everyone, welcome to Wealthy Wisdom. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 basics of personal finance. If you're new to the channel, do like and subscribe to the channel. Before we go into the 6 financial principles, let me make a quick point. I won't just tell you the rules. I'll also show you how to apply them. So pay attention and stay connected so you don't miss anything. Rule number 1 is to have a 6-month emergency fund. The first rule is to set aside at least 6 months' worth of wages in an emergency fund. An emergency fund is, as the name indicates, a savings account for unexpected expenses such as costly repairs or, in the worst-case situation, losing your job. If you lose your job, you're financially secure for at least 6 months, giving you plenty of time to hunt for another job. Establishing an emergency fund should be the first thing on your list of things to do to better your financial status. As a result, before making any other investments, you should prioritize the creation of an emergency fund. It's quite simple to put together. First, consider when you want your emergency fund to be completely filled. Second, decide how much money you'd want to put away each month for your emergency fund in order to have it ready by the date you've set. This naturally assumes that you already have a basic understanding of your finances, are aware of your income and expenditure, and have a budget in place to keep track of them. Otherwise, you risk overestimation and the calculation being utterly wrong. The second rule is to invest 20% of your income in long-term investments. Next rule on basics of personal finance, set aside 20% of your income for long-term investing. In a nutshell, here's what this rule may do for your emergency savings. Divide the 20% into 10% for long-term investments and 10% for an emergency fund if you don't currently have one and wish to start saving for long-term investments. For example, if you earn $5,000 per month, you would subtract 20% or $1,000 and put $500 in long-term investments and $500 in an emergency fund. However, a word of caution, you should not add to your emergency funds by investing in a stock portfolio. If you currently have your emergency fund in the form of stock investments, it is possible that your portfolio could be losing money precisely when you need it, leaving you unable to pay for anticipated needs. An emergency fund is intended to help you gain access to cash quickly. And if you currently have your emergency fund in the form of stock investments, it is possible that your portfolio could be losing money. On the other hand, your long-term investments do 3 things. First, keep your money working for you. Second and third, provide you with an extra pension after you stop working. Few individuals, or those who do, think about it too late, planning their lives for when they no longer need to work. Start putting away 10 to 20% of your salary as soon as possible in long-term investments to avoid experiencing this. Creating an ETF portfolio is a simple way to invest your money for the long term. The 35-25-30-10 ETF portfolio is one example. This portfolio's concept is to divide a global index into 4 regions: North America, Europe, emerging markets, and the Pacific. The fact that the main indices underweight the European area is one explanation for this. An investment may be made in the USA and Canada using the MSCI North America Index, or alternatively, the FTSE North America Index. The European stock market is covered by the STOXX Europe 600 Index. The MSCI Europe offers similar possibility in this situation as well. MSCI Emerging Markets and MSCI Pacific Indexes are added to the portfolio to cover the emerging markets and the Pacific region respectively. Consider a weighted average based on GDP of 35% North America, 25% Europe, 30% developing markets, and 10% Asia Pacific. With this combination, you can use just one savings rate to invest in more than 2,600 shares all over the world. Third rule is to avoid incurring credit card debt. To prevent incurring credit card debt, follow the guidelines below. This concept is simple and effective since credit card interest is extraordinarily high, trapping you in a cycle of debt accumulation. Interest costs into your income, so when unexpected costs come up, you have to take on more debt. This increases the amount of interest you have to pay, and the cycle continues. As you can see, it's best to avoid credit card debt from the beginning and pay it off as soon as possible if you already have it. Again, set aside a percentage of your monthly income for this. According to me, the following should come first. As a result, the following is the order. Credit card debt, an emergency fund, or long-term investments are all options. 1. Eliminate credit card debt. 2. Make an emergency fund. 3. Invest in long-term investments. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Let's continue to tackle 6 basics of personal finance. Fourth rule, drive second-hand automobiles until they're no longer serviceable, new or used. The fourth criteria is to maintain your cars in service until they either fail completely or the cost of repairs exceeds the vehicle's value. Warren Buffett is a prime example of this. According to his daughter, he used to drive his car and even said in an interview that he should acquire a new one since his old one was so worn out. Far too many people splurge on automobiles, even if the one they currently possess works well or could be preserved in like new condition with a little extra upkeep. This, in my opinion, is the most serious problem. The majority of people buy a new vehicle, meticulously maintain it for the first 3 months, only begin to make repairs when something breaks, and then buy a new car 3 years later. By keeping your automobile in good condition and driving it until it no longer functions properly, or until the value of the vehicle is so low that repairs are no longer economically viable, you might save a lot of money. Furthermore, there is a saying that goes, if you can't afford the automobile 3 times, you can't afford it at all. In other words, if you have $60,000 in your bank account, spend $2,000 on a vehicle rather than $60,000. The fifth rule is to ignore whatever your neighbors decide to buy. The following rule often leads us to purchase products that we simply cannot afford. The fifth rule is to avoid listening in on your neighbor's purchases or seeing what someone else has that you don't. A person or your neighbor is not inherently a better person, more successful, or in any other way superior to you just because they drive a nicer vehicle. Because we identify ourselves substantially more with what we have than with the sort of person we are, we have a tendency to make poor buying selections when someone else, like our neighbor or another individual, has something that is superior to what we have. Because of this, we wind up spending money that we don't have or spending money on things that are not really necessary. If you want to prevent this, you should create a budget for yourself and keep to it, since otherwise, you run the danger of allowing other variables influence your decision-making over purchases. The sixth rule, walk around more. The sixth rule is to just get out of your car and go for a stroll or a bike ride. If you live in a rural area with limited access to public transportation, you must rely on a car. Put the idea to the test by estimating how long the normal routes you travel need to be, both by automobile and by bicycle. You will surely uncover routes where riding is more beneficial, especially given the rising expense of petrol. Furthermore, the 6 universal money rules on the right side might help you learn how to save more money. We've reached the end of another video, and thank you for watching. I hope you have learned the 6 basics of personal finance. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye.